CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Heinz History Center and their newest exhibition, Pittsburgh's Hidden History. It is a cornucopia of curiosity, a magical menagerie of memory, and a little bit of this and that. There are flowery couches, relics from Kennywood, even a collection of shivs. If you listen to this show a lot, you know we are loving this. It is truly mind-boggling to see how the curators brought together such a wide range of rarely seen artifacts to tell Pittsburgh stories like never before. To buy your tickets and learn more, visit HeinzHistoryCenter.org. Today's show is sponsored by Open Streets PGH, organized by Bike Pittsburgh. It's going down this Sunday, June 29th, when cyclists and pedestrians can roll, wander, stroll through 3.6 miles of East Liberty, Homewood, Larimer, Point Breeze, and Wilkinsburg, all completely car-free. You can bike, walk, dance, skate, whatever you want, take an exercise class, check out local businesses, build connections, and see the city in an entirely new way. There's no cost, just come on down. See the route at openstreetspgh.org and follow the party at openstreetspgh. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, it is so hot outside, and one of our favorite places to escape the heat is a nice, cool, maybe even air-conditioned museum. But don't sweat the ticket money, because today we are talking about the best, most unique, and very importantly, totally free museums and funky collections you can check out right now in and around Pittsburgh. It's Wednesday, June 25th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I am back with Jeremy Jones, the owner of Discover the Burgh, the amazing blog that tells all of us what we need to be doing all the time. Jeremy, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And Asha Prihar, brand new to CityCast Pittsburgh, but not the CityCast family. You used to work over on our sister show with Philly. Now you're the newsletter writer and reporter at Spotlight PA, which we also love. Welcome, Asha.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be back on CityCast.
I love it. I'm so glad to have you back. And actually, I want to put you a little bit on the spot. How much time have you spent in Pittsburgh? Because I know you're still based in Philly. Do you have you gotten over here before?
I have spent most of my life in sort of like central and eastern PA.
We won't hold it against you. It's chill.
So I did grow up in Sheets territory. I'll put that out there. But I have visited Pittsburgh a few times. I saw my first Taylor Swift concert in Pittsburgh. So very positive memory there. The Red Tour. Shout out to formerly Heinz Field.
There you go. Okay, now you're actually showing some pretty decent local bona fides. I love it.
Yeah, but I haven't been super recently. But I do love museums and free things. And so I've been especially since I've been at Spotlight, I've been gradually developing myself a little like bucket list of spots to visit throughout Pennsylvania.
Jeremy, you feel like at the appropriate Pittsburgh welcome wagon here. What do you love about the free options available to us here in this city?
Well, I mean, I think we just have a wealth of diversity in the free museum options. I mean, you might not think about it since a lot of the bigger museums are paid and ticketed.
And they're just huge. They have like big names like Carnegie.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of hard to compete with like that kind of clout. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of your favorite recommendations. I guess, Jeremy, let's start off with a big one. Like, what is the one place you take an out-of-town visitor? Say they've got like an afternoon free. Like, where are you headed?
Oh, it's always going to be Randyland in the North Side. I mean, partly also just because I live around the corner from Randyland, so it's super easy for me to take guests there. For people who don't know what Randyland is, in the mid-90s, a local artist named Randy bought a couple houses on credit card in the Mexican War streets and just turned it into a massive outdoor art project. These houses are painted, top to bottom. There's a interior courtyard with tchotchkes and, stuff that's just been collected over the years.
And it's really colorful. It is truly rainbow on every single corner, like the ground you're walking on to the walls in front of you, even the porta-john outside. Like it's all rainbow.
And it gets updated all the time. Like I walk my dog there by a couple times a week, and it's just like every time I look, something's new, a new paint job somewhere, a new piece of art outside. So even though it doesn't like maybe fit the typical bill from a museum, it just has so much that you're looking at that it's essentially an art exhibit outside, and it's wonderful.
Well, let's stick with art. Asha, what about you? What do you recommend kind of in this general region that feels like it would speak to that like artistic vibe?
Yeah, I mean, over in Westmoreland County, there's the Westmoreland Museum of American Art. And as the name suggests, that's entirely American works. They've got like Great Depression, World War II artwork on display right now. They've got works by women sculptors. They've got a collection of fracture. I think it's pronounced fracture or fracture.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. It's a style of like this like German folk art made by immigrants. And they also have like a Pennsylvania focused collection. And they're also doing this like immersive art maze thing this summer. That sounds really cool. I kind of want to make it out for it. Though that does cost $10. That's not free, but everything else is free.
Another great one that I love, you need to make a reservation for, but is the Troy Hill Art Houses. These are kind of hidden gems in Troy Hill that a local resident has bought and hired some worldwide acclaimed artists to essentially do the entire inside of these houses as art pieces. So there's four houses. You have to get a reservation for each, but they're free tours. I don't want to give too much away about them, but if you like immersive world-class art, it's a lot of fun. It's one of those that we just like to say, go and check it out. My favorite is called Dark House Lighthouse. And if you like really, really cool in-depth art, they're really fun.
You can also see the permanent art collection at the Frick for free and their gardens. The other parts of the museum are paid. Like they have like special exhibitions and stuff.
Yeah, they have the big fancy Clayton house. We've been on the tour and talked about that on this show before, but it's like the carriage house and like that piece kind of like off to the left of the house from the parking lot that I think you can walk through for free most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the art museum piece of it is temporarily closed right now, actually, because I guess they had some trouble with their fire alarms or something. So they're reopening on August 1st.
Yeah, so good maybe for later in the summer when they get that figured out. Jeremy, anything else you would shout out?
There's a bunch of art galleries all over the city that are free. And some of my favorite ones are the downtown galleries like Space and Wood Street galleries. My favorite is actually the Wood Street galleries because it's actually in the Wood Street station of the T. You have to go around the backside of the building, and there's a separate entrance where you take an elevator up to 2 different floors, have gallery exhibits.
I've never been upstairs. I thought it was just the floor at the bottom there.
No, you go not the door where you go into like you're getting on the T. Go around the backside. There's a door that takes you to an elevator, and there's 2 floors above. The second and third floor have galleries in them, and they change them, every quarter or so.
Jeremy, I've been to that museum like dozens of times. I've never been in the elevator. That's so funny. Thank you for teaching me that.
And, the one cool thing with the galleries, too, is that, downtown Pittsburgh does quarterly gallery crawls where some of these are open late. And, Garfield has the Unblurred First Fridays where things are open late as well. So there's a lot of cool, just independent galleries around. But yeah, Wood Street's definitely one of my top free galleries in the city to check out.
So what about for science lovers? Where would y'all recommend people can get in for free or at least like see some stuff for free?
Yeah, I think science is a little tricky. The biggest ones like the Science Center obviously have paid tickets. Mm-hmm. I like that you can see the USS Rakin outside, the Tench class submarine. Like it's a paid ticket if you want to go in, but you can just be rolling down the river trail and see a literal submarine, which I kind of find.
It's this teeny tiny little submarine that just like hangs out under the trees on the riverbank.
Yeah. And I know that Asha was going to talk about another one that I absolutely love as well.
Yeah, you can tour the Allegheny Observatory on Thursdays and Fridays during the summer.
Yeah, that's over there in Riverview Park.
Yeah. They have guided tours. It's not like something where you can like go in and like walk around on your own. Like you have to take a guided tour. You have to sign up in advance. But they do them twice a week in the summer months and into September. But cool opportunity to like see space a little bit.
Well, and also like I would also argue it's like a lot of history too, because Jeremy, check me here, but I think it's like there was something about like how telescopes were first developed. Like we just had something like really, really impressive, really, really early on.
I think the biggest thing that was discovered there was that they focused on standardized time. Actually, there they were using the telescopes to, figure out standard time and send it out to all the railroad stations all over the country. Because as you can imagine, if one station was using one time and another was using another time, then things get all wonky. And so like standardized time actually was one thing that was kind of came about because of the observatory here.
Yeah. And also just like a really historic space too. Like that building itself, like you feel like you're kind of stepping into like a different moment in history.
And it's open like at a time when a lot of museums aren't open.
We got really lucky when we went on a tour last year that we had a clear night, and you can actually look through some of the telescopes when the night's clear. They open up the dome, so we got to take a really close up look at the moon, which is really neat.
CityCast Pittsburgh is coming at you today thanks in part to Visibility. It's an organization here in Pittsburgh that empowers individuals who are blind or visually impaired to explore all that is possible in their lives. Visibility takes a holistic approach focused on the whole person, which includes personalized programming so clients can live however they want to live. Maybe you need help using an assistive device, a ride to an appointment, or job coaching. They even do vision screenings for kids and provide regular eye exams for adults. Whatever the need, Visibility tries to help Pittsburghers achieve their goals and pursue their passions. Visit visibility.org or follow them on social to learn how you can support the cause through volunteering, contributing, or spreading the word.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Summer tastes like Tic Tac. Tantalize your taste buds this sunny season with citrus adventure and orange. 2 everyday flavors that bring summer in every. Tic Tac Citrus Adventure is a yummy, vibrant medley of lemon, lime, and mandarin. And Tic Tac Orange is the perfect mix of tangy and sweet. Visit us at Tic Tac USA on social to refresh your summer with Tic Tac.
What are y'all's favorite, I don't know how to categorize this, like favorite collections of weird stuff? Like, I feel like that's like a common thing in Pittsburgh. It's like someone who got just a teeny bit obsessed and it spun out from there.
Oh, I have plenty. One of my favorite ones was Bicycle Heaven. But they just recently switched to being ticketed, and so you have to pay for a ticket now.
I had no idea. Like they always had their little donation box when you came in, but I didn't realize they'd moved to being paid. I kind of feel like that's worth it though. Like that, I'd be shocked if that's like a hefty ticket too.
I think it's like $15, but they have like 4,000 bikes, and they're super historic. Immediately next door to that is Johnny Angel's Ginchy stuff. Johnny Angel is a local musician, been playing for something like 50 years. He's a wonderful guy, but he opened up a music store / museum. Half of it is buying records and music merch, and then the other half is an exhibit of all of his memorabilia from those decades playing. So it's a lot of great music memorabilia, photos of him with famous musicians that he's had, old band jackets from the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. I will say that one tends to have somewhat variable hours though.
Yeah, Johnny has to be there, I think.
Yeah, and if they are playing a gig the night before, I've gone a few times and they haven't been open, even though Google says it could be.
And that's an important distinction. Google might tell you it could be open, but you probably just need to check it out by sight.
Right. Another one that I like that has a collection of really weird stuff is not technically free. They do require a donation, but it's kind of unspecified on what that could be. You could take them a bottle of weird alcohol just as much as money. But Trundle Manor in Swissvale, Mr. Arm and Velda are great artists and wonderful people, but they have turned their house into a collection of absurd oddities. They have taxidermy animals, weird art that they've made themselves. I think they have a singing tumor in a jar. It's definitely an eclectic, weird mix. It's a wonderful, wonderful tour, and they're great.
A singing tumor? Like
Yeah.
TUMOR?
Yeah, like someone donated a tumor in a jar and they put it on a bass that like has music that when they turn it on it sings. It's like, I'm not sure if they show that one still or not. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but it's
Wow.
yeah, it's a cool spot. I think in their kitchen they have like a giant laser death ray. They have a when I did a tour there, they had a car outside in the garage that was like made up to be like a zombie killer. So it had like a giant grill on the front that would like mow down zombies like you would expect from like a Mad Max movie or something like that. It's wild.
Sounds like a good like Halloween visit.
It is. Go to the article we have on Discover the Berg about it to check out some photos, because it's really one of those things where me selling it on a podcast is not doing it justice.
I don't know, man. You're picking some high points, I think. Well, while we're on the subject, Jeremy, give me your like top one or two other places to see like creepy stuff in Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I really like the old jail tour downtown. At the county building, that historic castle-y looking building downtown. The original jail in the city was there, and they still have the old cells, and they're open for tours on like, I want to say like select Mondays. It's very, very limited, but you can go in and see like the historic records of the old jail, learn about breakouts, like learn about all this the history of the original jail in the city, which I kind of find creepy. You do have to go through like airport style security. They don't want you taking, photos and things like that on the inside, but it's a really cool and kind of creepy place. I also think St. Anthony's in Troy Hill is also kind of creepy in the sense that they have what they claim to be the largest collection of relics outside of the Vatican.
Like Catholic relics.
Yeah, Catholic relics. And so, sometimes relics could just be like a tooth. So it's very interesting if you're into that. And they also have a giant life-size Station of the Cross as well, which is neat to see, but also a little creepy to me since it is life-size.
Yeah, I bet. Well, Asha, let's jump to you, because I feel like you're covering a wide swath of Pennsylvania all the time these days. What would you recommend that's maybe just outside the Pittsburgh area, but is maybe worth the drive?
Sure. I mean, if you ever want to come to Philly, I have like a million recommendations for you.
We'll come back to you for that.
But I won't. That's a bit of a drive, so I won't mention those. But yeah, I can't, like I said, forming my bucket list, but can't personally vouch for it since I haven't been yet. But one place that I really want to check out is about an hour and a half south of Pittsburgh in Fayette County, and it's called Fort Necessity. It's a National Park Service site. That's the historic site of the first battle in the French and Indian War, which was actually George Washington's only surrender in his military career.
He did take one L. I mean, I think we can give him that.
I'm not like a huge military history person personally. I know a lot of people are into that. That's not really my thing. But so like the thing that actually like kind of excites me more about it is I'm a little bit of an infrastructure nerd. And there's like an education center there that's half dedicated to the battle, but the other half is actually dedicated to the National Road, which is US 40 and was America's first federally funded highway. So I thought it was super cool that they kind of did a little like combo site there at Fort Necessity, and have like both of those like pieces of history that seem like kind of separate, but I guess both make sense for the site.
I would add for Fort Necessity also, while you're down there, also make sure to go to the Jumonville Glen area. They have a battle marker there. It's just a couple miles down the road. It kind of ties all the history together of the battle that took place there. Since the fort was at one place, but the initial shots were, a few miles away. It's a good one to kind of combo up while you're there.
Yeah, I mean, double up. Why not? Jeremy, what about you? What do you recommend? Kind of within like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or so.
I think we talked about this at the beginning, but the Westmoreland Museum of American Art is great for a short road trip. I can't speak highly enough of that museum. It's wonderful.
And they got like an enormous endowment several years ago now, but like it really changed everything about how they do their presentation. Also their insurance bills, I think. But yeah. It's really like made it such a professional operation.
Yeah, definitely. And, I keep mentioning about how like some places are just kind of exhibits out out and about. One of my favorite things is the mill at McConnell's Mill. That is not open all the time, but, it has limited hours where you can go inside and see the historic mill that's in the state park. If you are ever at McConnell's Mill and hiking and the door is open and you can go in, it's a good one to stop at that has kind of a free museum vibe to it.
Yeah, and that's what, like about 45 minutes north of the city? I think it's in Portersville.
Yeah, it's right off the Portersville exit.
What about tips for finding some of these free spaces? Because I feel like sometimes that's like as y'all are talking, you're like, only open on these days and caveat with this. And maybe if the guy is there, like I feel like the research piece is sometimes like the hardest part of all of this. And I mean, obviously the best thing would be to take the tours with y'all. But if somebody can't do that, what do you recommend to like kind of like hunt down these spaces and plan a good day?
We have articles on Discover the Berg about free places in Pittsburgh.
It's great.
It's a great place to start. I'm going to toot my own horn there. I think one thing about finding things that are free is that, we're talking about things that are permanently free right now, but some museums also have days where things are just free for entry. Check out things like Rad Summer Staycation. They're offering free museum tickets to Allegheny County residents that have a library card. So you can log in there with your library card number and get tickets for what would be otherwise paid museums for free. And then also, I read the news, honestly, because a lot of times there'll be something that comes out that says something's free. Like just a news story just a couple of weeks ago that said that the Heinz History Center got a huge donation, and starting in September, it's going to be free for kids. So, there's just kind of pay attention to news sources and information about free things, even if temporary pops up a lot.
Subscribe to the Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We love some free stuff around here. Asha, what about you?
I think some other good places to start, similar to Fort Necessity, there are lots of National Park Service sites. You can go on their website and see like a couple more in the region. Some of them charge fees, some of them don't, but there are like a handful of days a year, like Juneteenth, for example. I think August 4th is another one where everything, like all National Park Service sites are free. And there are also some great state-run museums that aren't usually free, but do charge like pretty modest admission. I'm thinking like under $10 usually.
Yeah.
Some examples of that would be like the Erie Maritime Museum, the Somerset Historical Center, which is a rural history museum in Somerset County. And there's Old Economy Village in Ambridge. I haven't been to any of those, but I have been to some other state-run museums, and I've generally been like really like impressed with just like their size and scope while also being a ticket that's like $10 or under.
Yeah.
And if you're ever traveling and you're near a college campus, I think it's always worth checking out if there's a free museum there, because a lot of universities do have art museums or some other kind of gallery or thing to look at.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but there's actually like one I'm thinking of like over at the University of Pittsburgh that's like dedicated to like the development of the polio vaccine, because that was done here in Pittsburgh. And yeah, the building has to be open, but like you can see an iron lung really up close and like the desk where he did this work, and it's really cool. Definitely one to check out.
Yeah, it's like universities, like they're great at, they're in the business of knowledge and culture preservation and all that. So I think they often, you'd be surprised at like how much stuff they have that the public can just look at. Though they're not always the best pick for the summer though, because it depends if the school's open or not.
Good point. Yeah, the buildings are more likely to be closed this time of year.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'll add is if you receive SNAP assistance, definitely check out the Museums for All program, which can get you super discounted tickets to a lot of museums. There are over 90 participating sites throughout Pennsylvania, and that includes around a dozen in Pittsburgh. So that's definitely something worth looking into to make museums a little more accessible.
Also thinking of like makerspace type areas. Like the Pittsburgh Glass Center has a gallery as well, and it's completely free to go to. And you can actually, walk around the space and see the artists there making glass. And then you can also go to the gallery and see, rotating art exhibits there as well.
Definitely. I guess final tips from y'all maybe to just be in a good headspace to experience, to try to chase down any of this. When it's free, I think maybe the expectations should be a little bit different. And I'm kind of curious, like y'all's approach to that, what you'd recommend.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a free museum isn't really free. It still costs someone money to run. It doesn't matter if it's, Randy painting on the side of a building, or the Westmoreland Museum having a major gallery that is subsidized in some capacity. It still costs money for everything to exist. So a lot of these places have donation options. I always recommend, if you can, to donate something. Some places that are donation required, but for the most part, a lot of the ones we talked about are free. But
yeah, there's always a big but.
If you're able to put some money in, because a free place won't stay free if the community doesn't support it. And that's why we've seen maybe some places move from a free model to a ticketed model, because just costs are rising for everybody.
I also feel like when I'm at a free museum, I'm often thinking about, as I'm looking at things, I'm like, who do I know who would like this too? And then I recommend it to them afterward if I had a good time, because there are lots of these hidden gems that deserve appreciation and community support. And I also love being able to recommend someone a good time.
Asha, you really are a professional recommender. You both are, really. Well, Jeremy, Asha, thank you both so much for your wisdom and your recommendations. We will be reading both of you to figure out what we need to be doing more this Pittsburgh summer.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. And if you need a little more inspiration, maybe some more summer adventure, Asha has also put out a summer bucket list. It's a bingo card through Spotlight PA, and it's got all kinds of suggestions for activities across the state. There's also a chance to be creative, to add your own to the list. If you get a bingo, you can send in your card for a chance to win some Spotlight PA swag. We'll have a link to that in our show notes, plus Asha and Jeremy's museum roundups. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon. I'll throw out one that I really love. I think I probably go see it like every 4 or 5 years or something, but it's the Forbes Field walls in Oakland. It's not a museum, but it's like a thing you can go see to kind of like experience a different piece of Pittsburgh's past.
Yeah, and they have like the old home plate in the campus building across the way from it. So like in the middle of the building is just the glass framed home plate too.
Mm-hmm. So this is where the Pirates played long time ago, before PNC Park, before Three River Stadium. This was where they played over in Oakland.